Hi, Vicky Weekley, and I'm here with G Lopes. G, what's going on today? Tell
Every
me.
time I know that it's gonna happen, I still can't stand it. There's just never a point where I'm gonna accept that you don't have a microphone.
You know, wait, but did you remember that I sent, okay, everyone, for context, I sent G and Amy a message about this mini microphone that Amazon sells that you can plug into your phone, and it's a little tiny thing. And I think I should get it for this thing that we're doing.
There's a
Do you think it's in the
pandemic
budget?
going on
Will
in the
our
world,
sponsors?
and you want to have
We have to
UPS.
keep the economy rolling.
I'm sorry, but the little microphone, not worth it. My
Do you
my
think our
thoughts.
sponsors would like buy it for us?
No one sponsors this video. Vicky, I'm done. I'm
Okay.
done bantering with you. So this is
Okay, that's
so let,
fair.
let's talk about today's topic, right?
Please, please.
So I'm assuming that you were a good employee and you watched Father Abe's video about
I
about
did.
his about his grandma. I'm always impressed when Father Abe says things in like his Hispanic Latin accent. Mama. One thing that I appreciate when Father Abe shares stories is that he always begins with the family first, and then he begins with relating it with his family, and then he'll dive into whatever lesson that he wants to share. And I think that speaks to really a lot of who Father Abe is that the church
Mhm.
is his family, the church is who he's become, the priest, a man of the cloth, a man of faith. Um, and his family, you can tell how he talks about his family, the involvement of his family in his vocation, which I thought was really nice. I also really enjoyed, and I don't know, Vicky, you might have to share a little more about this because I didn't grow up with my grandmother. I just knew of
Mhm.
my grandmother's importance. But maybe you can even tell us a little bit about the importance of having a grandmother, a grandfather in
Yeah.
your life growing up, because that was something that I just couldn't understand.
Yeah, it definitely made me reflect on my own relationship with the mother figures in my life. My mom, and I have my grandmothers and my aunts and just, the women in my life. I mean, they're amazing people that have really, I think, have like the best qualities of Mary in them. They're people, and there's a lot that goes into being a person. So there's, ups and downs. But that thought of like the grandmother, right? The mother of the church, I felt was so special because it's the tenderness, right, that he spoke, that Pope Francis had talked about, the tenderness that exists because Mary was tender with Jesus first, right? Like that's how she looked at Jesus. And then that we're supposed to do the same thing when looking at Christ, but also looking at the church. And I love that, like, the church is mother instead of anything else, because I think, and maybe it's controversial, I don't know, but I know that people have a lot of issues with like the role of women in the church, and but like church is mom. Like it's a tender place, a place to be comforted and to be loved and to grow and to experience life in a community. And like that's what moms do. Moms are the glue of the family. And like that's what Mary is for us, and that's what the church is for our larger Catholic family. Like I think of my own experience with my grandmother, like the one that I grew up with a little bit closer. So my dad's mom is in Tallahassee, and I grew up in Miami. Um, and when my parents would go out with their friends, we would stay at my grandmother's house, and I would cry. I hated staying there the night. I wanted to stay with my parents, and now I think back to our relation, like now how it's progressed over the years, and I can remember being really upset. And now I'm like, why? Like because I love being with my grandmother. It's one of just the best things because it's just she's really good at taking whoever's in front of her and making sure that they know she's listening. Her gentleness, she's really tough also, and like she's quick, and she just like cares, like that you're being cared for right there. And for me, it feels a lot like my own relationship, like with the church, because I think growing up, I was I was a little Catholic girl, and then got into high school, and you know you're just going to church, like um
I think where Father Abe really connects Mama for me is with Mama Margaret, and I think in a very special way of how Mama Margaret was so dedicated to John Bosco's work, and how she was a part of the oratory. So like the boys knew her, everybody Don
Oh, for
Bosco
sure.
worked with knew her, and people would know her and would pay her, and she would treat them exactly the same no matter what they were. I found a passage in the memoirs where it said that she treated everyone with gentleness and charity. It made no difference if the caller was a duke, a marquis, a wealthy banker, a cobbler, or a chimney sweep. I gotta admit, when I saw a cobbler,
There's shoe fixers.
I was like,
They fix shoes.
I was like a pie
Yeah.
maker. I thought though that Father Abe transitioned in a very unique way. That Mama was the glue of the family. So is Mary the glue of the church, or holding the church together, and not upsetting, Mama because of our disunity. And I would agree with Father Abe. I do think that there is a lot of disunity in the church, particularly now with COVID-19. I think we as a country are seeing. I'm not going to get too much into politics here. If people want to get into politics, I am no pundit. Feel free to go on CNN, Fox, whatever color you, red, blue, whatever color you. That's fine. But I do think that there is a clear divide in the country, and particularly again going back to COVID-19, people thinking, should we reopen? Should we not reopen? Should we, go back to school? Should we send the public another $1,000? What is it that we need to do? And I think we're really forgetting, and I was really upset about this last week, where there was this article floating around about people suing the governor of New Jersey for not opening the churches. And that was kind of a hard article to read, you know. And I understand that people want to go back to the church. I understand the desire, and I spoke about this last week. I understand the desire to get back to our normal routine. But Father Eve talked about in our first video about building community that the church, the structure of the church, that's not where the church is. We are the church. So if we want the structure, we want the building, we need to wrestle with that, because that sometimes could come off selfish. I
Oh,
want
for
this to
sure.
open because we deserve this. I understand. I miss the church. I miss seeing my parish. I miss seeing my priest. I miss all of that. But I am going to do more harm than good if I don't stay home, protect myself, protect my family, possibly put other people in harm, possibly be put in harm myself, even with social distancing, even with all of the precautions, having the mask. All of that is still, there's still room for error there.
And is
And
it
then
worth it?
and then what
Is the result
happens?
worth
Exactly. And then what happens when we're starting to distribute the Eucharist? What happens when you're drinking the precious blood? Like what? I don't know if people really understand all the steps that have to go into it. Look, people, things are going to be different for a long time, and that's perfectly fine. The quicker we are to accept it, the better. I don't think this is really the time for us to be like church versus state, and this is my right, and they're separate. Absolutely, but if you don't think that the church, the bishops sat down with government officials to decide what is best for the people, come on. Not everything can be a conspiracy. Not everything is against one
it?
another. So I think we really need to think about this like that. So that's where I find the disunity happening, where people are just
Hmm.
not on the same page. People really want things for themselves. And I understand it's not everybody, and I'm making broad strokes in my statement. I totally get that. But for those who are very vocal, like I struggle with that. I also struggle too when people are like COVID is fake, and putting that disunity,
Oh my
that
gosh.
those comments on Facebook, and they're causing disunity.
Hmm.
They're saying like, "Oh my gosh, this isn't real. People are lying. This is all fake news and all that." Like regardless of what you think, I know people that have passed away from COVID.
Yep.
I know people who have lost their jobs because of COVID. You can think
Hmm.
whatever you want, and this is America, so you have that luxury. But don't forget the privilege that we have to have those opinions. We have
Absolutely. And
we
it's
have
all.
the right to do that. We have the right to share and all that. But I think we need to really forget this is not the time for that. This is a time for us to remain together. And Pope Francis is trying his best to make sure that we remember this. He is making sure that we pray, that we fast, that we give almsgiving, all of that. But he knows that the people of the church, he knows that the congregation, he knows that all people of faith, he knows that right now it's time to stay home. If he didn't know that, he would not have the wisdom to share what he shared that we talked about reconciliation last week. Tell your father that you're sorry, make reconciliation with him, but promise to go to confession when you get the opportunity. The church will be there, people, when this is all over. The physical structure will be there. We will be there, okay? But if we keep putting our selfish tendencies, our selfish thoughts, our what we want versus what really the entire community, the world community needs right now, COVID is not going away anytime soon if we have that thought, and we will create more tension than what was before. And I find that sometimes people just don't understand that. I don't know. I know I took over a lot, but
That little like that little selfish tendency to be like, hey bishop, open the church, like I think it almost sounds to me like a little bit of an insecurity in a faith.
yeah,
And
that's
like
a good point.
I know that's a lot to say, but it's like, okay, mass is more available than ever. You have more time than ever, right? I mean, not everybody, right? There's the essential workers, um and that's a whole other thought of like what you talked about of like the COVID-19 not being real, because there is a shortage going on. There are people dying in New York State. There are these moving morgues where people are there. It's horrible, horrible. So that thought of COVID being fake, it may not be the storm for you that it is for somebody else. It might be a sunshiny day for you, but it might be a torrential downpour for somebody else. So it's really time to stop saying that and to think about the people that are suffering. There's actually this another quote from St. John Bosco, and it's place total reliance on Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, the source of favors, goodness, and blessings, and on the Blessed Virgin, whom God wishes to glorify earth through her church. And
What a
that's
long
it.
what kind of long quote is that, man?
It's not long.
I'm gonna have to put that on the Final Cut Pro thing, man. That's gonna be huge.
That wasn't long.
Appreciate the Amazon workers, man, because these people, they're going to your house, put a sign up and say thank you for taking a risk. You know, because they're taking your packages home, they're delivering it. You don't know what they're doing. Appreciate them, people. Thank you, everybody, for watching our video. Really appreciate it. Before you watch our video, though, make sure that you check out Father Abe's video first, and then our video is the follow-up discussing that. If you feel like being awesome, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification. I'll put it here somewhere whenever I
Can I
figure
hit
out how
it?
to be figure out how to be a full YouTuber, then I'll put it. We're really excited for our next conversation. Thank you again for all your responses. Stay safe, stay at home, and we'll see you at the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Peace!